So I was first exposed to pornography when I was 5 years old and came across some magazines. I was at home by myself, and I went from being a carefree, happy kid to knowing that I had to keep a secret that I kept in many ways for the next 38 years as I struggled with a real addiction or connection with pornography that I couldn't break on my own. I tried a number of different techniques, counseling, therapy, prayer, men's groups, accountability groups, and not many things worked, and not many things worked long term. And if they did work, they worked kind of in the sense that I was waiting every day for the other shoe to fall.
I knew about his pornography problem before we got married. He was pretty sure that marriage would solve the problem, but it didn't. It's like we would try talking about it, but it would end up to where talking about it just made it worse. So eventually I just buried all of it and pretended it didn't hurt, but it did. I had been cheated on in a previous relationship, so I knew I didn't want to marry a cheater. For me, a porn problem was just one step shy of an affair. So I was really leery, but he said that he was pretty sure marriage would take care of it. It didn't. And I found this out fairly early on. The thing that made it more damaging was every time he would confess, or every time I would confront him and then he would confess, it grew. It grew from, well, it was just a little bit of porn use, I think I can get under control, to, well, I never really stopped since last time, and I've kind of been interested in a girl at work, to I've been lying to you about it, and I've been interested in women at work and on business trips. Every time it seemed to grow, I knew before we got married that it could escalate. And over our marriage, over the 15 years that this had been going on, I saw it escalate, and it freaked me out completely. Around 2010, I started sensing that something was up, so I asked him about it. And he confessed to 4 years of hidden porn use. But not just that, he had been lying to me almost every night for that 4 years. All that was difficult, but what almost did us in was the fact that we couldn't talk about it, that we still couldn't get through a good conversation about it, no matter how much therapy we had or how many books we read. And of course, at first I did the traditional thing, and they worked for a while, but not very long. And then I knew I had to do something different, and so we found some things that actually didn't just keep him from struggling like he had before, but caused us to be able to have more sane conversations about it. And it healed us. It brought us closer together.
I found a real solution which involved having a guide or a mentor to help me with my struggle, and that made a real difference. Our marriage is now, over the past 6 years, there was a time where we had to tear everything back down to the foundation and start over in many ways. And that was as a result of my continual lying and breaking of trust. But where we are now is something I didn't ever imagine would happen. I never thought marriage could be something where I enjoy being with Lord, and that relationship feeds in me all of those things that I felt like were lacking, that led me to look at porn, that led me to objectify other women. I didn't know that relationship could be fulfilling. I didn't know that it could be something that healed a place in me and gave me a place to live from that was so much more powerful than anything I'd experienced prior to that. I think the hardest part for me, and I think this will be the hard part for most guys, is once you confess, once you come forward with what you've been into, you'll feel better, but she won't. She'll feel worse. And the hard part for me was having to feel better for myself and yet try to understand her pain and stay at a place of trying to help her with her pain as opposed to just celebrating my own newfound freedom. It will feel awkward. It will feel terrible at first. The more I did it, the more I developed those muscles to relate to her, to invest in the relationship in a way that I never had before. It became more and more natural, but at first I just felt like I was making things so much worse all the time. And so I think for me that was the hard part, was not understanding that it is a process that will take time, more than a couple of months, to rebuild that level of trust and to have that relationship that I was looking for. It was incredibly painful to watch Lori go through what I had caused, and that was a struggle, and that was a very tough time.
The hardest part for me, I think, was just the back and forth of, and I know that women get this a lot. The guy says, I'll get it free, and then he doesn't, or I'm going to do better, and then he doesn't. The thing is, I didn't know Jay really couldn't. I mean, we've had guys tell us that their heroin and cocaine addictions were easier to beat. So this is a different animal, and I didn't understand that. I thought, hey, you said you stop doing this. Why aren't you doing that? After years of training his brain to work a certain way, I had no idea it was more difficult for him to have a good conversation about this. Another hard part for me was not understanding how difficult this would be to get from where we were to where we are now. But if I had known it was going to be this good, I don't know that I wish it could have happened a different way to get to where we are now. But if that's the only way it could have happened, which I don't think it is, but if that's the only way it could have happened, I would do it again. I say that tentatively, but it ended up being the thing that saved us in the end. I can say that. Again, if I'd have known that there was a different way, if I'd have known that there was somebody who would have walked beside me through this to guide me step by step, and save me a lot of time, because the mentorship approach does save some time, I think I would have taken it. In fact, I know I would have taken it. We spent a lot of money on other treatments and approaches only to have them not work. I know I would have taken this. Like, one of the things I really needed, I basically was screaming for anybody to tell me, what do I do? What do I do? Am I allowed to be this hurt by this? Am I allowed to feel this crappy about it? I just needed somebody to tell me that. People rarely did. I had some great people beside me that would tell me the truth, and that would tell me that this is not all that Jay is. This is not all he's about, that he does love me, that it's something more than I'm not good enough, or that this is something about me. But I still really needed somebody to tell me, this is what you do next. And eventually I found out what I needed to do. Again, if this is the only way that we could have had what we have now, I would do it. I don't know what else to say.
If you're a guy that's struggling with porn, that can't seem to get free from some sort of sexual behavior that is disruptive to your life, disruptive to your relationships, that's what we're here for. The more that you try to keep it to yourself, the more that you keep it hidden, the more that it will fester and grow. That's what I found over the 38 years that I struggled. It is something that you can overcome. If you have someone that can help you along the way, that can tell you what's to be expected, what's normal, what's going to work the best for you in that moment, that's going to make the journey so much easier than continuing to try to find a way on your own, or to listen to someone who's never been down this road. If where you want to be is to have porn completely out of your life, then maybe you want to follow what I've done. If what you really want is an awesome relationship that feeds you in a way that porn never will, in a way that affairs never will, in a way that any other type of sexual behavior will ever fulfill you, then maybe you want to work with Lori and I. We found that. We have found a relationship, a way of relating to one another that's so much more healthy than most of the relationships we've seen.
It's definitely healthier than what we have. And what I would tell women is you have to know where you want to get to. You have to know what kind of relationship you want. One of the first questions a friend asked me was, what kind of relationship do you want? Like, who has that kind of relationship? It's like, I don't know anybody who has the kind of relationship I'd always envisioned. And then I thought about it a little afterwards, and I thought, it's like the newlyweds, or it's like the people who are still dating. You know, that newness, that freshness, that fun, that adventure, that still getting to know each other, having fun together, enjoying being with each other. But that's what we feel like now. So I would tell women to envision what they want, and then find somebody who has the type of relationship you want. Find out what they did, but also do whatever it takes. If neither of you stop searching for what's going to work for your relationship, then you'll eventually get to where you want to be.
We have navigated those waters of rebuilding a relationship when trust has been completely shattered. And yes, there are other ways to do it. Are they faster? I don't think so. Are they going to be crafted specifically for you? Probably not. We will work with you to get to the place you want your relationship to be. Not just push a bunch of tools in front of you and say, here, figure it out, but work with you as you figure it out and give you some direct guidance in that.